This is Noah, a friendly and outgoing coworker appreciated by his team. A public servant who, without realizing it, is about to make a blunder with serious consequences. The meeting is coming to an end when suddenly,
oh my gosh, the news just came out. The Supreme Court has unanimously recognized that Bill C-92 is constitutional, which affirms the right and jurisdiction of Indigenous peoples in matters of child and family services.
Seriously? It's about time.
Ugh, not again. I think it's time that Indigenous people get over it and move on.
a quiet unease fills the room. Noah's comment disturbs several team members, particularly affecting three of his Indigenous colleagues, Tanya, Terry, and Kim. All three look at one another, surprised, jaw-dropped. Let's pause and analyze the scene with psychologist Judith Morancy.
Noah's sudden statement has sent shockwaves through the room all at once, because it shows insensitivity, indifference, and likely ignorance of the injustices faced by Indigenous peoples through colonization. Noah's words contain many cliches, but are far from harmless. They carry significant emotional weight. It's like saying, "Be quiet, don't bother us, solve your own problems, it's not my concern, life goes on." Noah's remark dismisses the suffering, assaults, and traumas that continue to affect many Indigenous people and communities today. Once again, Indigenous voices are silenced and made invisible. Noah's comment is a microaggression that reopens old wounds, breaks trust, and damages relationships.
Let's go back to the conversation. Instantly, a warning bell goes off in the minds of Tanya, Terry, and Kim. Behind this silence, what are these three Indigenous colleagues really thinking? Tanya, who is a proud Métis from Red River, is offended.
Does he even realize what he just said? Isn't he aware of the impacts of colonization on Métis and other Indigenous peoples, and of what children have endured for generations? My own grandmother was forced to go to a residential school. That comment is outrageous.
Terry, who is Inuk from Iqaluit, feels insulted.
How could Noah show such contempt? Do I need to state suicide statistics of Inuit youth, which are 10 times higher than the national average, for him to understand the disparity between his world and mine?
Kim, who is Ojibwe Sauter from the northwest of Ontario, is deeply hurt.
Wow, I don't want to work with this team anymore. I bet that some of my colleagues share Noah's views. Even today, the disparities remain so significant. 41% of Indigenous youth living in major Canadian cities suffer from food insecurity. Oh well, what's the point? They don't want to hear it anyway.
Noah, are you aware of what you just said?
This kind of comment is unacceptable. Noah, when you say, "get over it and move on," it's super hurtful. It gives the impression that the harm and suffering experienced by those close to me are unimportant. It's not just about the past, but also about how it still affects them today. There are so many challenges ahead.
There are numerous repercussions that we, Inuit, and also First Nations and Métis experience in our daily lives. Not so long ago, our cultures, languages, security, independence, beliefs, and freedoms had been radically removed from the Indigenous way of being. These past actions still impact everyday Indigenous lives. More than half of all foster children in Canada are Indigenous, mainly Inuit, even though Indigenous kids only represent less than 8% of the child population.
Noah, visibly unsettled, realizes the gravity of what he said.
I didn't mean to hurt anyone. I didn't realize that my comment might come across as dismissive of your experiences. I'm really sorry and I apologize.
To me, reconciliation isn't about getting over it, but it's about setting right those past wrongs. It's about working together on an equal footing and having everyone, Indigenous and non-Indigenous, on par with one another.
Naively, without considering the broader implications, Noah brought the colonial elephant into the room and deeply affected the relationship. With a few words, which he thought were harmless, Noah undermined reconciliation efforts. Misconceptions and misunderstandings are hard to undo. It's everyone's responsibility to speak up after they hear inappropriate or misinformed comments, Even when it may be difficult to do so, it's important to stand up and take action. Reconciliation is a shared responsibility. It's about renewing and maintaining a relationship of mutual respect between Indigenous and non-Indigenous peoples in this country. It's also about correcting the wrongs that were done and committing to taking active steps for the actions needed for change. Learn from Noah's blunder. Be part of the solution. Be aware of the past, acknowledge the harm that was done, and its ongoing negative consequences. Learn now about the true history of colonization and its impacts. Find out about the government's commitments to reconciliation and the rights of Indigenous peoples. You have a role to play.